Hey everyone, I'm just going to do this video. It's kind of as a subsequent warning. I've been doing these kind of warnings for many years now. And unfortunately and sadly, they mostly fall on deaf ears or are quickly forgotten and overlooked. Yet I continue to persist, and I will continue to do so because freedom and liberty matter that much to me. And it should for you as well. Unfortunately, I fear our voices may soon be silenced, at least on some of the most dominant social media platforms where most people congregate and seek out information. I have no doubt there will still be places on the internet, just like in real life, where you can find ways to speak openly without fear of recourse or punishment. Whether in person or online, having the ability to speak openly and freely against big government authoritarianism is vitally important for any self-described free society. That is a bare minimum. Once you have lost the ability to speak freely and openly against big government or to push back against your thought leaders, well, tyranny is usually not that far away. And in Canada, that time is fast approaching. In particular, in the online world, there is a huge coordinated effort to create some kind of a singularity, a one voice, a one-size-fits-all approach to force everybody into conformity and compliance. And people like myself who are unwilling to go along are readily being targeted, silenced, and suppressed. And if more and more Canadians don't start speaking up, there won't be many left of us to do so. Headline of the National News Watch: slowly but surely, the government is gathering the media into its ghastly embrace. It's reported by Andrew Coyne for the Globe and Mail, April 2nd, 2021. I don't want to alarm you, but you might like to know that the federal government is about to take over the media. Perhaps you will think I am exaggerating, but before the spring is out, based on its own announced timeline, there won't be a patch of grass on the media landscape, broadcasting or newspapers, digital or analog, curated or user-generated, that the government does not either regulate or subsidize or both. If takeover is not the word, what is? Broadcasting, of course, fell to the state long ago. Every minute of every hour of every day of what is broadcast on Canadian radio and television is overseen by the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission, the CRTC, with its sprawling mandate to protect the public from material that is harmful, degrading, or American. Though since much of the content it scrutinizes, classifies, and regulates in such detail has already been put through the bureaucratic ringer at the front end via various subsidy councils, it hardly seems worth the effort. The results are about as dire as you would expect. An industry that, after many decades of state monitoring, remains largely alien to the public it allegedly serves. Still, in television's technological infancy, there is probably no escaping this sort of thing. The relative scarcity of spectrum and the industry's abject reliance on advertising, for lack of any means to extract payment from viewers, made for a small number of stations, all showing much the same unadventurous fare. Regulations and subsidy were an attempt, however clumsy, to mimic the diversity of offerings in a well-functioning market. Anyways, folks, I probably don't need to say much or read any further from this article for at least most of you people, the few of you who do watch my videos, to realize and recognize, yeah, the walls are closing in fast and hard. And it has been for a long time. Although it's definitely been ramped up under the Trudeau regime. Make no mistake about that. I mean, at the very least, when you see establishment figures such as Andrew Coyne, who are pointing out the fact in an alarming manner, suggesting that you're soon not going to have any opportunity to hear dissenting voices or alternative information that counters the status quo or the current rule of establishment, you might want to take that warning serious. I know I do, because I've been watching that play out and unfold for years now. And I myself am now being personally targeted and having my own social media platforms interfered with by people who want to shut me up and shut me out of the conversation entirely. Which is why it's so vitally important that people like myself, those of us who are brave enough and courageous enough to stand up and speak out, do have at least a substantial following of people who are willing to support us, not just in terms of viewership and helping to share this kind of information, but economically as well. Because, yeah, we're up against a behemoth. Matter of fact, a multitude of behemoths who not just have the power of government and force at their disposal, but the power of the printing press as well. This truly is a David versus Goliath situation. However, unlike the David and Goliath story, where David at least had access to a rock, a slingshot, and wasn't restrained in his ability to defend himself against that Goliath, we Canadians, we libertarians in particular, are placed in much more precarious situations and greatly restrained and restricted. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.